Hello and welcome to the Nintendo Pipeline Podcast. I'm your host for the evening, One Up Muffin on the Discord, but you can call me Jared. And with me today is...
It's me, CMM, but you can call me Clay.
We got a small crew for you tonight, but passionate and dedicated about one thing and one thing only, the Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pass, which came out, to my knowledge, yesterday, the day before yesterday, as of this podcast, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Who cares?
It's been a couple days.
So, what we're here to talk about is the games we've been playing on the Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pass service, which includes the Nintendo 64, awesome, and the Genesis.
Wow. Going to have to disagree with you there already.
So I'm going to let you choose. Do you want to start with Genesis or Nintendo 64?
We can start with N64, because I think that's what most people are going to be interested in hearing about.
So let's actually start with, Clay had not done the multiplayer before this recording, so I said, we can't do the recording unless you've played Mario Tennis Online.
Yeah.
So we played Mario Tennis Online, and I was crushed 3 rounds in a row.
I'm kind of still surprised by that. He was like, "Oh, I destroyed Dupe, and then I proceeded to destroy."
Not Dupe, Dong Beetle.
No. Oh, I'm sorry, Dong Beetle. And I then apparently destroyed him, and I was like, "What was Dong's playing ability like if I destroyed you?" What happened there?
I didn't even know the buttons, so I didn't know any of the combos or
that's
things.
Right,
I was just pressing A and B.
But it ran pretty well.
It ran pretty well. There's a few stutters.
There's a couple
when
stutters.
It wasn't stuttering, and we were both on handheld too, right? I don't think we're both,
I was. Yeah.
So I bet if we were both on wired, that stutters would probably go away. But even with the stutters, it was totally playable. Yeah,
it was fine. So far I've played a little bit of Mario Tennis offline. All of the games that I've played have pretty much been offline. Mostly Dr. Mario and Yoshi Story of all things, because somehow I got sucked into those.
Are you a big Dr. Mario guy?
I like Dr. Mario okay. It doesn't doesn't set me on my heart on fire, but I'll play it and enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't actively despise Dr. Mario, but I also don't like Dr. Mario.
Yeah, it's kind of it's grown on me over the years, is kind of how I am with it.
I'll play it once in a while. It's more fun when you get to the harder levels.
I enjoy that Dr. Mario 64 is there on launch, especially seeing as it wasn't re-released in the West before.
Yeah.
And the story mode in that is super stupid and great. It's just the dumbest thing so far.
I want to try that, because the style is definitely the coolest thing about it.
Yeah, it's got the... kind of has the... I don't know. It looks really ugly on an actual TV if you're playing with really awful settings and awful cables like I did when I had Dr. Mario 64. It looks fine on the Switch screen. And then Yoshi's Story
really weird
too.
Characters.
Yeah, Dr. Mario has the Wario Land 3 characters, so that's fun. Yeah.
You can play as Applebee's.
God. I was swearing at one of the characters last night. I don't remember which one it was. I was so pissed because I almost won that stage 3 different times and managed to screw myself over on the last remaining virus at least 4 or 5 times.
And do they have any modes that don't play like Dr. Mario?
I didn't experiment with any of the other modes. I know there's Flash, which I hear is cool.
Okay.
I don't really remember Dr. Mario 64 that well, because when I got it, I only played a little bit of it, and it looks like crap on my TV, so...
I did 1 round of multiplayer online on NSO, but otherwise I've never played Dr. Mario before in my life. 64.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it had any of these weird characters or story mode. I knew
about the weird content, but I never dove into it myself. The menu actually reminded me of Puzzle League very much. It's
I want Pokemon Puzzle League on there.
Hopefully that makes it.
And Wetrix.
Oh yeah, Wetrix and
Electrics is so fun.
what's the other one too? Tetrasphere.
Oh, Tetrasphere is... I don't know how to play that. Like, it's weird.
Either.
It's hard.
I don't know how to play any of those.
Wetrix is it's just like such like a weird thing. Anyways, we're not here to talk about Wetrix.
Yeah. Well,
we kind of are
a little bit, but so I know you've been playing a lot of Winback, which I have not started yet.
Yeah, Operation Winback. I rented this game when I was a child. It's fun. It holds up really well. It's one of the first like cover based shooters. The cover mechanic is kind of like clumsy. Like you have to walk up really close to walls and then like very deliberately hit A to get into like cover mode. But it's cool. It feels like Time Crisis. Like a lot of the style and like reloading and like taking cover feels like you're playing a N64 version of Time Crisis.
Yeah,
especially when you get to checkpoints
cute.
and it's like checkpoint up on the screen. I've not played the multiplayer yet, but I'd like to.
I've never played it. I've never played it. It looked kind of like dumb to me when I was growing up. Like I didn't really totally. It looked like, I don't know. But hearing that it has like kind of weird arcadey stuff going on with it makes me want to actually try it more. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like, it's so similar if you've played like Resident Evil 4. Like you have like the laser sight. You can't move and shoot. It's so similar to that, and like it's like without this game, like Gears of War wouldn't exist, Resident Evil 4 wouldn't exist. Like
yeah, that's funny.
Influential title.
It has a sequel too, doesn't it?
Does it? I have no idea.
I could be wrong.
I cannot confirm or deny.
I played a good bit of Sin and Punishment and Star Fox 64 as well, and those felt fine to me. So I guess we can kind of talk about like how stuff feels in general.
Yeah,
because there's been a lot of talk about input lag and emulation accuracy and stuff. And I think what I've noticed is that most games feel fine, fine enough, and then each game kind of has little different things that are wrong with it. For Star Fox,
what if you notice like you're personally?
Yeah, I mean, what I've noticed personally is Star Fox 64, when you get to Solar, the little, like, lava spires that fly out are, like, the wrong color. They're, like, this macaroni and cheese orange for some reason. And, like, for Yoshi's story, there's one of the stages where you do a lot of swimming. And if, like, the surface of the water lines up towards the top of the screen, it has this, like, weird, like, shine effect going on with it. It's a very weird bug. Weird. I didn't notice anything in like Star Fox besides the solar thing so far, but I also I've been kind of like hopping in and out of stuff so much just to kind of try it out that I haven't like sat through and played like, you know, a full round. I didn't really notice anything in Mario 64 either. But I didn't play that. I noticed
input lag in Mario 64.
Yeah.
I think I'm just generally pretty sensitive to that. I would need to try like the Mario All-Stars one or the 64 game, the original. Yeah. To like see if I'm like just misremembering it, but it does feel a little bit input laggy. Like just because I remember Mario 64, at least in my mind, being so responsive. Again, I could be wrong. I don't think you are, but it does feel like something's a little off.
Yeah,
a few wall textures looked off.
Again, I didn't play enough Mario 64 to really say on that one, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was some stuff. I know, like this is more true for Ocarina of Time, but a lot of like the fog and transparency stuff is off. Sometimes literally off. There's no.
I didn't try Ocarina of yet, and at this point, I kind of just want to wait until they fix whatever weird visual stuff there is.
Yeah, I don't like Ocarina of Time, so I don't care.
Well, we'll save that for a different podcast.
I played the PAL version of Ocarina of Time for a few minutes just to laugh. And I mean, yeah, I don't know. I again don't really have much like reference point for Ocarina of Time, but everyone has been pretty much saying that it doesn't feel correct, and sure doesn't seem to be feeling correct.
And we mentioned it before, but besides like the glitch stuff, like I've been playing some Mario Tennis, and it's very fun. I like that one a lot. I feel like that one feels really good.
See, tennis, I felt it was slightly off when I was playing locally.
I had never played the original, so I have no comparison point.
I kind of have. It's been a while since I played Tennis 64, but I kind of have a little bit of muscle memory with it. Mm-hmm. And it felt it does feel a bit off to me. And again, it could just be a lag thing. I think that's kind of the overall theme of the N64 Switch Online thing, is that there's kind of just input lag all over the place.
Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna glance at like the games and see if there's like anything I haven't mentioned.
I know
the other ones are Yoshi's Story. I haven't got around to yet. I really like Yoshi's Story. It's a fun little quirky game, but I've not played it yet in a long time. And you're playing that one, right?
Yeah, so I don't even like Yoshi's Story, but somehow I got like sucked into playing through the whole thing and got to near the end.
Yeah, it's like a hour-long game.
It's short, but like, and I was playing it and I was like, man, I must have been really stupid as a kid, because as a kid I would never find any of like the super happy hearts or whatever, and then like they're in the most obvious places in the universe. But that one also felt off to me a little bit. It felt laggy to me.
Yeah.
I didn't.
So I have.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I played some Mario Kart 64, but only online.
Gotcha.
I played with 4 people, one from Spain. So there was definitely a lot of lag, which you would expect, but it was still like relatively playable.
Yeah.
Even with 4 people from different countries, like
not do the weird audio thing
at all. Yeah, there was audio delay, and there was like slowdown, but it was like reliable slowdown, so I could still like control my car.
Yeah, I get you. It wasn't like random spikes. It was like yeah.
But it was we had fun. But I didn't try it single player, so I can't say if like I noticed like the delay or not.
Yeah,
but
I haven't.
I like that game still, even though it's not like the best one.
I haven't launched Mario Kart 64 yet because I also don't like Mario Kart 64, so I'm not in a rush.
I played a little bit of Oh, go on.
I'm sorry. I actually played some of the PAL ROMs and the Japanese ROMs. Star Fox with Japanese voice acting is a different experience because it doesn't sound stupid. So it's kind of interesting. And then if you play the European version, Lilac Wars, if you go into the settings, you can change the voices from being the standard US voice actors to gibberish. And
that's cool.
It's very shitty gibberish. It's not good gibberish. It's just like really bad gibberish. So definitely try that out if you want to poke around with that. But you were saying you were saying you played a bit of Sin and Punishment.
Oh yeah, I was just saying I also played a little bit of that in Star Fox, and they're fun games. I don't have too many interesting things to say about those.
Yeah, Sin and Punishment I spent some time with because I like Sin and Punishment a lot. And so that's the only game on here that has a slightly customized control scheme, where you can use both ZL and ZR to shoot. But what I realized midway through playing, I was like, why is this not working the way I expect it to? So every N64 game, if you hold the ZR button, the face buttons become the C buttons, right? It's like an alternate mapping, which is fine. But for Sin and Punishment, they didn't disable that, and you need to use other buttons while you're holding the shoot button. So if you hold ZR to shoot, it also makes the face buttons into the C buttons. So if you have it if you're not pushing ZR, the A button switches your lock-on type or your cursor type to lock-on or normal. If you are holding the ZR button down, A becomes C right, which makes your character move right. But if you, it's like, it's so weird. They just didn't disable the like ability to use the face buttons as C buttons when using ZR to shoot and Sin and Punishment, so it's just wrong. Like, I don't see how you can really play that game comfortably.
I was wondering, because I didn't know the controls, so I was like, why is this so strange? Like, why are these buttons changing?
Yeah, like, sometimes I'd change my cursor type instead of moving right, and I was like, what? And then I'd push the button to move right, and nothing would happen. And I was like, am I crazy? And then I realized what was going
clumsy.
on. That game controls like crap on N64. I appreciate them trying to give a different option there, but they need to disable the ZR button, allowing you to choose the C buttons in that game specifically.
There's no settings.
No.
There's
it's just
no
funny
settings for
because they made that
so
change with the intent that you could use either button to shoot, but they didn't turn off the C button thing, so it screws everything up.
So that C button thing is just a silly idea anyway.
Yeah, I don't mind it in practice, because you have the analog stick for C button still, which, as much as I don't like that, it's preferable to in a lot of cases. It's pretty much like the Wii Virtual Console control scheme, except with some extra mappings, pretty much some duplicate mappings. But yeah, Sin and Punishment, please, Lord, just remove the C button, or the C button face button masking thing just for that game specifically. If you're gonna have the shoot button be ZR in that as well, so you can use ZL.
If you're holding R, you can never press A and B at the same time.
Right.
Does that never come into play in games?
Well, I mean, it does. It's just the idea is say you're playing Mario 64, right? If you don't want to use the right analog to move the camera, you can hold the ZR button and press A, and that will make the camera pan in a certain direction, and then you let go of ZR and continue on your merry way. But it's in
But what if you
punishment.
want to hold ZR and jump?
You're constant. You can't hold ZR and jump like in Mario 64.
That's so silly.
Because all the face buttons become C up, C down, C left,
that's not
right.
smart.
Which I get the option to have that, and the ZR button isn't used for anything else. But
it's not used for anything else.
No, it's not. In every game, ZL is the Z button. ZR is just you hold it to toggle. But in Sin and Punishment specifically, you can use the ZR button as the Z button as well. And when you do that...
That's why I was confused. Okay.
They didn't account for the whole C button mapping thing. It's
I should
weird.
have pressed the actual Z button. Okay.
Yeah.
So weird.
So you have to shoot with Z pretty much effectively right now. You need to shoot with ZL, and then you can strafe with either the D-pad or Y and X, which function, or I don't even remember, dude. It's bad. Because I can't do dual analog, and that's pretty much the only way you can play Sin and Punishment besides using an actual N64 controller, because it's you're moving the cursor with the analog stick. Either analog stick will move the cursor. And then you jump with L or R. You shoot with ZL or ZR in theory. And then you need to strafe with either the C buttons or the D-pad. So it's this and then you need to use the A button to switch to your cursor type. And then sometimes...
Why doesn't the right analog stick let you strafe in this game?
They have it mapped to the standard analog stick for Sin and Punishment so that you have more options in terms of how to control the cursor.
I need to try this on an N64 controller. I'll be getting mine tomorrow, so I can actually try out the controls for real.
I'm holding ZL, moving my cursor, strafing with the C buttons or whatever, or the D-pad, whatever I choose to inflict upon myself. I feel like I have to hold the controller with 3 hands to do everything that I want to. It's... I played it on Wii Virtual Console, and not that was any easier, but I was able to kind of finagle it with the classic controller a bit.
Yeah.
But it's hard when you're trying to move your cursor while strafing, while jumping, while shooting, because of how everything is arranged. It's
it's fun though. It's a cool game.
The game is awesome. I just wish I could freaking play it. Made it through halfway somehow, and I was I can't, because then you have to let go of the Z button to use your sword swipes when things are up in close range too. So my fingers are playing some elaborate it's I'm playing an instrument. That's what it feels like.
I think that's all the N64 games.
Yeah.
I think we covered them all.
I tried. Again, I tried some of the PAL ROMs.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of expected them to feel worse than they did. I don't know if I'm just
Did you go to the
missing
50
something.
hertz mode specifically?
Did I what?
Go to the 50 hertz mode specifically.
I don't know how to set that.
Oh, that's what you
is,
gotta do.
is it an actual setting in each game?
I think it's a setting.
Oh, okay. That would make more sense.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this just seems like the same thing.
There is a rumble setting buried in there.
Yeah, there's the rumble setting, and there's the, being able to hide the PAL ROMs if you want to. I don't know why you can't hide the North American ROMs if you wanted to.
The PAL ROMs would be the 50 hertz ones.
Yeah. I just mean, like, if you're in Europe and you download this and for some reason you want to play everything on the original ROMs, it's kind of weird that you can't hide the North American ones.
It's
weird.
There's just a lot of weird things about it.
How would you rate the N64 service so far? Obviously, there's some more games coming. It's just the launch lineup, but just in terms of like how it works and functions.
I mean, I think the launch lineup is really dinky.
Yeah.
I felt like when NES and SNES came out, I feel like those felt like they had a huge chunk of games, and like a lot of the must-haves were there from like the first day.
Yeah. I mean, SNES in particular, I think launched with like 20.
Yeah, I don't feel like this at all. Like, I feel like we're missing so many. Maybe if we had Smash, I'd feel differently.
Maybe, yeah.
But obviously, Mario 64 and Ocarina. But yeah, I feel like Smash should have been here. The online feels good. I'm pretty happy with the online so far. Obviously, I hope they settle out the glitches, but I'd probably rate it like a 7 out of 10 so far. Like, I don't know. I just kind of expected a little bit more from like a thing that costs you $30 a year extra.
Yeah. I think for me, the input lag on certain games doesn't really mess with me too much. Again, I'm not an Ocarina of Time person, so I can't really speak to how annoying that can be for people. Mm-hmm. The thing that bugs me are a lot of the emulation bugs, specifically, like colors being wrong or fog not working. That was pretty disappointing to me. I only played online with Jared, so I haven't done it in 4-player. I can't really comment too much on the online besides from what I briefly played, which seemed okay. In the launch lineup, it's not like amazing, but like it's not like I was expecting there to be more at launch after they announced it.
Yeah, I think they told us what was going to be there.
The default mapping is fine. In terms of it being like Wii Virtual Console mapping with some duplicate mappings. I don't know if the duplicate mappings that they chose are the ones that I would have chosen. But honestly, for me, it's like a very middle of the road, like 5 out of 10 right now. Like it's functional. But like bugs in Yoshi's Story and bugs in Star Fox and a lot of bugs in Ocarina of Time and input lag stuff all kind of adds up to like something that really needs some work.
Yeah, and something that for the amount extra, you expect more polish.
Yeah, definitely. It's a little surprising. Yeah. I was expecting it to be much more polished.
Same.
Because
I expect the emulation to be perfect because we saw the videos that like the colors were right.
Yeah,
and the videos they showed.
I do like that the dark filter's gone. Number one.
Do they have scan lines in this?
They don't. No.
Oh.
The colors are mostly fine. I mean, there's some stuff that's off, but like it's not an ugly dark shitfest like the Wii U Virtual Console was. But it's not quite where I would want it to be.
Yeah.
Which kind of surprised me. I don't think we're entirely sure right now who handled the N64 VC. Obviously, the thought would be that it would be Nerd again, but it may have also been IQ, or it might have been built on top of IQ's emulator. There's kind of a lot of weird stuff going on with it. I don't totally know what the situation is. I know they like attempted to they gave Ocarina of Time like double the RAM in an attempt to keep it from like having weird crashes and stuff.
Does it have weird crashes before?
Well, I guess like it's so there's some speedrun bugs that you could do that normally crash hardware, and they will crash the app here too. I haven't seen anything that wasn't something like that crash the game. But I guess the intent of allotting more RAM to Ocarina of Time specifically was to try to prevent some other kind of crashes. I don't really know. I'm not too familiar with it. Again, Ocarina of Time is kind of...
Did it cause other glitches, though?
I don't know if it caused other glitches, but one of the big noticeable things in Ocarina of Time is just that fog and transparency just does not work. Like, it's so like, weird. And there's no fog. And I think someone mentioned it for Mario 64 as well, that, like, the fog wasn't behaving like it normally would.
And if there's no transparency, that means the bubbles in... If they added Smash, that means the Smash bubbles would also not work.
Well, it's like... I don't know in that regard, but, like, for example, like, the water transparency in some places in Ocarina of Time is weird, I guess. Again, I'm not familiar with Ocarina of Time. I can't really speak too much for that. I just know that things are kind of weird in that game in particular, and has significantly more input lag than the others for some reason.
Maybe when they add the next group of games, they'll do some fixes.
I really hope so, yeah. I really hope
I would expect it.
I would think so.
And there's some great stuff coming.
Yeah.
I will say I am super excited for Paper Mario. That's my number one. I just really want to play that game again. It's one of my favorite N64 games.
I know a lot of people are excited for Banjo as well.
There's better versions of Banjo out there, so honestly, like, it's cool that it's there, but it's not.
Yeah. I think out of the stuff that's coming up, F-Zero X and playing the stupid tile mini game in Kirby 64 online.
Oh, it's so fun. I love Kirby 64 is my second most hyped.
Yeah.
Of the announced ones. Kirby 64 is so much fun. I can't wait to play that.
Yeah, I would like to play the tile game if it can function. But yeah, I mean,
I'm sure it'll play online well.
Well, I mean, provided that everything is cool once the next lineup comes out. But yeah, so there was not only N64, we also had Genesis / Mega Drive.
Yeah, so let's get into the Genesis games.
Yeah.
I played mostly... I guess I played a mismatch of stuff. Ristar, it's a fun game.
Yep.
You ever played Ristar?
Yes.
He's a little
played a little bit of it last night, too.
He grabs stuff.
It's cool. Very pretty game.
Yeah.
Sonic feels like Sonic.
It felt fine.
Castlevania Bloodlines felt great.
Oh, it's a cool game. That's the first time I've ever played that one.
Yeah.
I did the first stage or two.
And Streets of Rage 2, I played a decent bit of. It felt fine.
Yeah, and we played that online a little bit too, and it worked all right. And some input lag that's a little bit more noticeable in Genesis, because, like, I don't know, 2D games, like, I noticed the lag more in Sonic.
Playing offline with Genesis, I didn't really notice anything too awful. Online, obviously, you notice that stuff more. I do like that they have the game invite feature integrated into these.
It's really nice.
Which is nice.
Hopefully they add that back into NES and SNES.
Yeah, I honestly, maybe it's already there. I don't even know.
I don't know.
That's how bad I am. I played a little bit of Gunstar, and the Genesis control layout is makes sense for what they have. The one thing that's weird is someone pointed this out to me, is that there's no mapping for the mode button that would be on the 6-button Genesis controller. And Shinobi 3, you have to enter a code to enable the 6-button mode for the control scheme. And one of the buttons you have to press is the mode button. So since that's not there, you can't activate the 6-button mode in Shinobi 3.
It's a silly oversight.
Yeah. I played that game as well a bit, and it felt fine to me. The main thing with the Genesis stuff that I noticed is sound issues.
I noticed a little bit of sound issue in Ristar.
Yeah.
Like, some of the music in the background, they're just sounding a little off.
Yeah, I know the Stage 1 theme in Streets of Rage 2 is slightly off. The spring sound in Sonic 2 was slightly off. Musha, I don't know, because I haven't played Musha besides on here. That was the first game I booted up.
On there yet. I heard it was a shoot 'em up, so I was like, I don't need to play that one.
Musha's great.
I'm just not a shoot 'em up guy. Sorry.
I don't know it well enough to be able to say, oh, that's, that sounds wrong or whatever. Bloodlines sounded fine to me from what I played, but like, again, that game I'm not as familiar with in its original form. I've played it in other versions over the years, but not on an actual Genesis.
I did some Contra Hardcore. That's a pretty cool game. Pretty badass.
Yeah. I meant to do that and haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah, the game starts, you like drive like a truck like into a bunch of enemies.
Yeah.
It's off the wall bonkers. It's cool.
Yeah, and for anyone listening who may want to play Contra Hardcore and maybe are turned off by the difficulty in the US and EU versions, if you guys grab the Japanese version of the Mega Drive app, the Japanese version of Contra Hardcore, instead of it being one-hit deaths, you have a health meter. So that might be worth checking out. I say it's worth downloading the Japanese versions of both of these apps just because, playing the Japanese versions is a nice bonus, and you're already paying for it, so you might as well take advantage of it.
But... also played a little bit of, but I need to try that Contra mode, the Japanese one, because I am one of those people that am turned off by the one kills. I just abuse the rewind feature, which I will say rewind is here for Genesis, which makes sense, but not for N64 because rewinding 3D is weird. But you can still save, save and load for both of them. But the rewinds are
you can still do like save states and stuff like that. And N64 also the battery backup save functions as well. Even if you don't do a save state, like it'll if you collect a star.
But there's no memory pack. There's no memory pack, though.
Right, controller pack is not supported. I can't believe I forgot about that. Yeah, controller pack is another big thing that's kind of like, okay.
Yeah, I wonder, actually, if games like Donkey Kong 64 will cause, issues. Have any games been confirmed that use, the expansion pass? The expansion pack?
I don't think there are any yet. If I remember, I can't remember, because there's a bunch that require it, and there's a lot that just support it. I don't believe the launch lineup has anything that takes advantage of the expansion pack. But as we know, on Wii U, Donkey Kong 64 was even more of a mess because of that game basically the gameplay is tied into the frame rate. So certain things break when it's running faster than it should be.
That game is held together by string.
Yeah. But Genesis, much more straightforward, has the rewind feature.
It's straightforward. It's
it appears to be M2. Still not entirely sure on that because I haven't gone out and said it, but it looks like it. And I mean, the Genesis lineup also, I think, is much stronger than...
I think it's okay.
I think it's
just missing some of my personal favorites.
Yeah. I mean, compared to, okay, so Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time, Star Fox 64, Sin and Punishment are all good. You have some weird little things like Winback and Dr. Mario 64. But Genesis has Sonic 2, Streets of Rage 2, Shinobi 3, Musha, Contra Hardcore, Castlevania Bloodlines, Phantasy Star 4, and a couple other things there day one. It's just, to me, it's just easily the stronger
There's
lineup.
Definitely more variety.
It's definitely not only is it a greater number of games, but it's a lot of big ones. Day one.
I guess I'm just I'm surprised. I guess some of the other big ones are coming, but even some that aren't even confirmed yet. Where's Columns? The best puzzle game. Columns. Great.
Yes, everyone is just dying.
Everyone's dying for Columns. I want Columns. I want Hang On. I want Kid Chameleon and Comic Zone.
I'm very okay if they do not rush and put out a bunch of the Genesis arcade ports, because I do not prefer to play the Genesis versions of arcade ports.
But what about Columns and Columns 2?
Columns 2 is a video game that also has an arcade version that's better.
But That's a great game. We need
And
Sonic Spinball.
Sonic Spinball is at least an actual, yeah. I'm not going to be upset if the Genesis version of Hang On is not here soon.
It's good.
I'd rather see, Vector Man or
I love Vector
the Wily Wars or some of the other Sonic
Dynamite
games.
Dynamite
Heady, yeah, and Kid Chameleon. I actually have a very soft spot for Kid Chameleon.
Kid Chameleon's super fun.
Yeah,
and so is
fun.
Comic Zone is amazing.
Decap Attack and Comic Zone are fun.
Yeah.
I don't need the Genesis version of Afterburner 2.
Afterburner's so much fun. I would want that.
But
and Outrun.
I just want the arcade versions of those, and some of those are already available on the eShop. So I'm not very concerned about that. I'm more concerned about Genesis only stuff.
Yeah, I wonder if they can do like a combined Sonic 3 and Knuckles. That'll be nice.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious how that's going to play out.
I bet they won't do it. They'll just do them separately.
Yeah, I mean, well, something that was interesting is even on the Wii Virtual Console, if you owned Sonic 3 and Knuckles and Sonic 2, you could choose to lock them on.
Oh, that's cool.
In that,
I feel like there's no functionality like that in here, though.
I mean, it was a custom thing for Wii as well, so I imagine it'll probably be a custom thing here. Either they'll have like an option to do it, or they'll just have it as a separate tile or something.
Oh, we didn't mention it, but Shining Force is here too.
Shining Force, yeah, Shining Force.
I didn't play it again this time, but it's great.
Yeah,
I want to try the Phantasy Star. I've never tried that series.
Yeah, I'm not an RPG person. I've heard good things about Phantasy Star 4, and a lot of people are excited about that. I thought that was a nice inclusion for day one.
Yeah. Oh, great to have variety, some RPGs in there.
And I'll never complain about Golden Axe being there.
Yeah, I think Golden Axe is not great.
It's
nice that it's there.
I mean, if you're gonna choose a beat 'em up in the launch lineup, it's gonna be Streets of Rage 2.
Yeah. And they also added one of the worst games of all time, Echo the Dolphin, so that lowers some points.
I don't think it's one. I don't know if I would call it one of the worst games of all time.
I just don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, Echo.
It's not that bad.
Strange.
It's not that bad.
Echo is just very strange, but like.
Yeah, I just don't.
Again, it's like pretty major. Well, it's a mainstay Genesis game that is there day one. And they launched with what 12 games, I think.
Yeah,
for Genesis.
Still a lot smaller than Super Nintendo, which makes sense because it's not Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean, Super Nintendo launched with 20. Genesis launches with 12.
Super Nintendo is definitely the best of the launches.
Yeah, I mean, out of the gate, certainly. In terms of like functionality and play experience, and even the games that are available at launch, Genesis to me is much better than N64 is right now. I would probably give Genesis like an 8 out of 10 right now for launch.
Yeah, I might give it like a 7.5.
Yeah, it's
for being more polished.
There are some sound bugs. I know Shinobi 3 has a certain thing that you can do in that that's typically only possible on emulator, which makes sense. So there are some inaccuracies and stuff in the Genesis, but they're not as noticeable or as bad as some of the ones on N64. And the input lag generally felt not as bad to me on Genesis. It's really just the sound stuff that bugs me. That's always going to be the stuff that bugs me, but as a lot of people know who are familiar with Genesis emulation know, it's always sound stuff that's off.
Yeah. So overall, the Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pass.
Yeah.
Would you recommend this service to people?
So I'll add in here as well as that you will also be getting the Animal Crossing DLC for free. We obviously don't have that yet.
Yeah.
But that is a thing that'll be here in about a week.
And again, if you like Animal Crossing, that's $25 saved. If you don't like Animal Crossing, it's nothing to you.
Yeah. My thought is it is not worth it if you are doing an individual membership.
Oh, not at all.
$50 for an individual membership is unfortunate. If you are doing a family plan, then that changes. Now, what I had a full family plan for the standard service, and we each paid like a little over $4 a year for it. With the expansion pack with a full family plan, after the discount that we received for having an in progress subscription, we paid a little over $6 each, which that's kind of a no brainer to me. But normally,
in general, you'll be paying 10.
Normally, if in a setting where you have a full family plan, each person pays $10, and I still think that's fine. I want the quality of the N64 stuff to be improved, and I hope to see more stuff added, like the Animal Crossing DLC and stuff. But if you have a full family plan, you're paying $10 a year for this, versus even like the basic membership individually, which is $20 a year. I think the basic membership is a fine value, but if you want the expansion pack, I would only recommend it if you have a full family plan and you are paying that $10 a year.
For 50, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, 50 for an individual membership is not worth it. 20 for the standard membership, I would argue, could be worth it. But
I think 20 for a standard is very fair.
I think it's fine. But 50 individually for this as it is right now, no.
I think let's pretend you're someone who is paying an extra $30.
Yeah.
You are getting a paltry amount of N64 and Genesis games. You're not getting vast libraries of these games like
right. Although
hits.
I think we should acknowledge too that obviously this is launch, and when you do, when you are buying into this thing, you are doing it with the understanding that stuff is going to be added.
Yeah.
I don't want to frame it as if like,
you have to pay for a year anyway.
Yeah, there's like crap on here right now. Like, yeah, obviously there's not much right now, but there's the expectation that more will be getting added. So, but for $50, no, I say the $20 one is such an infinitely better value.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't have any use for Animal Crossing.
Yeah. And if you have the $20 one, you'll just buy the Animal Crossing DLC.
Yeah. And I mean, like, you're only renting the Animal Crossing DLC for the expansion pack right now. You don't get a code. It's not yours forever. It's as long as the subscription is available. Hopefully they add more to that side of things as time goes on.
Yeah, I would like to see like one big expansion pack a year would be nice to have on there at least.
If they add like some other DLC to there and have like the DLC selection being a constant benefit.
It
obviously,
would suck if we lose access to this in like a few years though.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? Is
this rotating or is this permanent?
So it's permanent, but only as you are subscribed to it. So if the service ends or you stop subscribing...
Okay. They said it's permanent, though?
I mean, as of now, they have not said anything about it only being like, like the Animal Crossing DLC, as of now, is not supposed to be a benefit that just like disappears after 6 months.
Yeah.
But
I do
we don't
wonder,
really know, I guess.
I think to make this worth it, you need a lot more games.
You definitely need more games, and that's
way bigger
why
libraries.
That's why it's always good to wait on this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I don't know. For a Nintendo service, I would just much rather have another Nintendo system than Genesis. Even though like Genesis games are cool.
Yeah, I think it's funny for me.
I think they milked these games so much over the years that Genesis games just feel like lower value. Because you can buy the Genesis pack on the eShop for $20, and it has 50 games. Yeah, it's versus
rough
these 12
when you're trying to compare it to retail offerings that are also available on the same system,
on the same console. Like it just feels like it's not that much of a value. I think I'd rather have like Game Boy Advance games or Game Boy games.
I think the Genesis stuff will increase in value as more stuff is added.
Yeah,
and that is the case with N64 and all of these services, and they will be adding more NES and SNES games too.
Yeah.
I personally would have been much more interested in seeing Game Boy than N64 for my personal taste.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be fine to see GBA and other stuff too. But I think as it is, if you are paying for this by yourself, easily the answer is just do the regular membership.
Yeah,
You're getting
play these games
a lot
elsewhere.
with the $20 membership. Besides online,
Yeah,
and
and
NES and
even Genesis,
SNES.
like I guess that's like the one thing you don't get from like the Genesis collection
Yeah,
is the online play. Which is cool.
yeah. I don't recall if that has online or not.
I,
And I don't
think it
know
does.
that the
I actually know.
emulation quality on that collection is great either.
Yeah, I think it might be a little mixed.
But you know,
But yeah,
the $50
that's...
pack by yourself, I would say, is an easy no right now.
Yeah, this will be a quick one today. That was the Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pass. It's okay.
The online expansion pack.
Expansion Pack.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. I like retro games, so like I'll get value out of this.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they maybe make some special offers just for expansion pack holders.
Yeah, some discounts or something.
You know, yeah, it's just not. I mean,
yeah,
what you see is what you get right now.
It's a disappointing service. It's fine.
Yeah, see, and I'm someone who's actually likes the standard NSO service fine.
I like the standard NSO service a lot.
Yeah, I think it's cheap. It adds a decent amount of stuff, and the family plan makes it just so monumentally like affordable that it's not even a factor. And again,
this just feels like it's just milking like hardcore fans.
Yeah, this one is, again, if you have a full family plan, I still think it's negligible because you still can basically get it yearly for half of an individual plan by yourself if you're in the US. But the actual contents that they've added for the expansion pack so far need some work. Not just library-wise, but like N64, well. Like emulation-wise, needs fixes. So,
yeah, but
I don't know.
That's our show for you today. It's not our most positive show. I know we're usually pretty chipper and cheering here, but I'm still having a lot of fun with this. I'm having fun with Winback.
Don't get me wrong. I've played
a good time.
Good amount the past few days, and I have been enjoying myself. But it definitely has some stuff that needs to be improved.
We got to be real with you here.
Yeah.
Nintendo Pipeline Podcast. We'll be positive when we're positive about stuff. And we're not gonna BS you.
Just to make the record clear, Genesis is better than N64 right now.
and I think N64 is overall better than Genesis. So it's good we're both here to show you both sides of the greatest debate of all time.
Yeah. But
that was the Nintendo Pipeline Podcast. Thank you, Clay, for joining me.
Yay.
If you want to see more of our content, subscribe to the Nintendo Pipeline Podcast on your podcast app of choice or YouTube. And we also have a WordPress that we should try to promote more soon and get more writers for. That's at nintendopipeline.wordpress.com.
That it is.
And we also have a thread on Fammy Boards.
Yeah.
Tell us if you like the podcast there. Tell us if you hate the podcast there.
Yeah. I want to hear people who hate it.
Don't make us feel too bad, though, because we're very sensitive, and you might hurt us immensely, and we'll never forget it.
And if you have questions, ideas, suggestions, or you're interested in being a guest, let us know.
Yeah.
On all the usual channels.
And we have a Discord. The Discord link is on the WordPress.
It is, yeah. I believe it's on Fammy Boards somewhere as well. Probably. If not, I should probably take care of that.
Yeah. So everyone, have a Nintendo-rific night.
Oh, God.
And we'll catch you next week on the Nintendo Pipeline Podcast.
Bye.